Alrighty, welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about 5 categories in 2025 that I would like to see get buffs because we have a lot of categories in this game, and some of them get better treatment than others. If we kind of look at the list right here real quick, we look at something like Universe Survival Saga, where in 2025, especially in the first half of the year, it felt like it was just buff after buff after buff after buff after buff after buff for Universe Survival Saga. And then you look at a team like Shadow Dragon Saga and they're like, hey, could I have a crumb please? And Amatsu's like, no, you get nothing. So Shadow Dragon Saga is not on this list, but definitely a team that could use the help, right? It's where I think this really gets tricky is that there are so many teams in this game. I'm not even going to count how many are here, right? I think last time I counted the categories, it was up to like 83. So it's probably more than that at this point. And really, I think one thing, I guess this kind of just leads into another point about the game where I feel like this game really I think it would really benefit from like a condensing of categories, but the issue with that is so many leader skills would have to be changed, right? Like if we just let's just look at this green list of categories right here, right? It's like I feel like some of these teams we just don't need, right? Like how many times how many times you went, oh boy, like I know Glorio has the leader skill for it, but it's like, what's the best accelerated battle team I could build, right? Or like what's the best like legendary existence team or story figures? Like nobody's running these teams, right? Like that's the problem. And there's just so many and it just makes it so like junked up, right? That like we just don't need them, right? Like reps of U7, U6, U11. I feel like we don't need like all those categories. It would just be better. Like reps of U7, I feel like is the only one that needs to be exclusive because Universe 6 gets like a buff a year and Universe 11 will go 5 years without a buff at a time, right? Like Universe 11 didn't get anything for years. So kind of just a counterpoint. I could probably make a whole other video about that, but let's go ahead and get into the 5 teams that I think need help the most in Dokkan right now. And number 1 for me, this isn't ranked by the way, but the first one is the Wicked Bloodline team. I think one thing that I've come to realize over the last like few months when I've been making like shorts and stuff covering videos like who needs help, what character do I want to see in 2025, or what like EZAs am I most excited for, I've realized I'm a bigger fan of Frieza than I realized that I actually am, right? And this isn't just like, oh, he wants to be like Goresh. Like, no, I just really think Frieza's a good character, right? I don't think it's like I like a crazy like hot take or like I'm trying to be different when I say that I think Frieza is probably the best Dragon Ball villain, right? Like that's not like some uncommon thing. And if you look at this team, like the last LR that this game got, like if we're on the JP timeline, is this Metal Cooler. That was 2022. Like, you know what I mean? No EZAs for some of these major characters. Like this guy got his EZA back a few years ago. Like these 3, this is like the it's the big 3, right? Like this is these 3 all kind of like are coming up on their EZAs, right? I think this full power Frieza could be sooner rather than later. We have all different versions of these characters that really could just get updates. I've been standing on top of a soapbox, banging on a pan for years, just going like boom, boom, like come on, we need a new final form Frieza from Namek, right? I think that could really help this team, and then like we could really kind of get into the super EZA territory, right? Because we've already gotten this full power Frieza. We've got like if we want to go like if they would really like sort of do something fun here, if they could like recode the game and unban this guy from events and just like change his leader skill to just like AGL type, like it literally doesn't matter. Make him AGL like extreme AGL, key 1, attack defense HP plus 1%, right? I wouldn't care. If like they super EZA'd this guy and let us run him in difficult content, that'd be so clutch, right? So like this Golden Frieza super EZA would be a nice buff. Like there's just so many things they could do with this team. Like the newest character, who's the newest character here excluding free to play? It's this full power or this first form Frieza, right? Because you're free to play, you are a summonable banner unit, but you came out after the anniversary. So yeah, I think it's this Frieza right here. Like this team needs help in a bad way. And like there's a lot of people that really like Frieza, and I think that the Wicked Bloodline team is just fun to run. I always like running like Frieza Cooler rotations or just straight up Frieza rotations. So I definitely want Wicked Bloodline to get a buff in 2025 or buffs in 2025 because I want this to be like a runnable team. I think if Namek Frieza gets like a Dokkan Fest exclusive LR or even just a TUR, and then this version of Full Power Frieza gets his EZA, maybe Cooler gets his EZA, then we are in business with this team. Really can start to get cooking here, and then hopefully that would help AGL First Form Frieza, who just unfortunately did not get the help that he needed in 2024. Let's move on to the next team, and that is going to be GT Heroes. Now, lots of stuff to cover here. Lots of EZAs where it's like a big question mark. It's like, where are they? And I think it's pretty feasible that we get them in 2025. Now, the first and like the elephant in the room here is an obvious GT Hero buff that feels 99% confirmed, and that is going to be the Super Saiyan 4 Goku Vegeta into Gogeta EZAs, or EZA, excuse me, alongside the Tech LR gods. These guys absolutely should be getting their EZA during the 10th year anniversary, so we are only like a couple, like about 7 to 8 weeks away from these guys getting their EZA. So very exciting stuff. Should be one of the better units in the game. They really have been, the last 2 years, they've really nailed the yearly anniversary LR EZAs, like the 5th year units, or the 5th year, if there's a video on the channel of me using them for like 4 hours, like that's how fun those characters were when they came out. And then the 6th year EZAs, I still have UI Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta in the top 10, and it's almost been a year, so it's maybe Evolution Blue Vegeta fell out, but UI Goku I know I still have up there. But this team could really use some help, right? We have Int Vegeta's EZA, so like the Golden Week 2021 TUR EZAs easily could be up there. If we are going for like an EZA on this guy, maybe we get this guy at the same time, right? 2 Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta EZAs in one celebration could be fun. Right now, probably the best GT Hero characters are just these guys straight up because of their anniversary buffs, right? Tech Pan, I think, is up for an EZA coming up soon. I know one viewer, shout out to them, they really want me to showcase Tech Pan. I don't really know how I'm going to go about that yet, but I don't know. I don't want to give in and just like, I kind of like, how many days can we go? Should I even acknowledge it? I don't know. No, maybe not. Just Tech Pan, they want to showcase for Tech Pan. I think if she EZAs, that would be a really good opportunity to do so. But like those are the major EZAs coming up for GT Heroes, but like it's not hard to do like a GT Hero centric celebration and just kind of get it all out of the way, right? Or like have like a relevant GT Heroes team, right? Like there's a lot of characters here that people want. Like you could just do another like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, right? You could do some version like a transforming Super Saiyan 3 Goku into Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? You could do a new Majub. Like there's just a lot of things that you could do for GT Heroes. And this team kind of goes through phases, right? Like when the category was introduced with these two during the Golden Week Dual Dokkan Fest, like that was a really fun team to run with like the EZAs for the 2nd year anniversary characters right here. Like GT Heroes was a super fun team. And like, again, GT Heroes also kind of had like a little bit of a comeback during the 7th anniversary where you would run this guy or the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, then you'd run the 4-year anniversary LRs, then you'd run the full power, the Tech Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta EZA. Just a lot of different ways that you could do it, and I think that that made things a lot of fun. So GT Heroes, the newest character on here, UR or LR wise, this Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who aged out really quickly, unfortunately, needs a bit of help. And then with the TUR situation, you guys can see we haven't gotten a real TUR since Pan. So it's been a few years now. So let's get some buffs for this team. I think we could definitely use it. Now, the next team I think that realistically is going to be getting buffs is Time Travelers. Now, you might be kind of confused here. You know, these guys, they just always find a way to make it into my shorts or into my videos, but they're there. But really, I just want to talk about this team kind of briefly because of the introduction of Daima Goku here. Now, this is not a spoiler. We're not even going to be talking about the plot of Daima in here. But with this Goku, he is on Time Travelers for some reason. So that makes me inclined to believe that more Daima characters are going to be on Time Travelers. Again, Dokkan might have just spoiled something. So Dokkan might have spoiled something, but we don't know what it is. So that like again, I didn't spoil anything. We don't know anything about Daima. Like, you know, Daima, there's nothing major in this. But Time Travelers, always a team that's up on the chopping block in terms of upgrades, right? The world, like they could easily do a celebration themed around the Future Saga, and then it's going to be chock full of characters that are Time Travelers, right? Could easily get a new Goku Black. It's not impossible, even though we did get Physical Rose this year. You know, Vegito Blue is always a character that's like, it doesn't matter even if he came out the year before, we could always be like, oh yeah, they might do a Vegito Blue, right? Like that's not a crazy take. And then the introduction of Daima characters, I could easily see them adding. So I could easily, how many times have I said easily in the last 30 seconds? I could for sure see the Time Travelers category getting buffs, especially with what the trajectory for Daima is, because we still need a Daima Vegeta. We're still going to get a Daima Piccolo at some point. I would imagine that most of the main cast is going to be getting their mini versions, if you will. and then maybe any transformations that they want to partake in the series. We only know a few right now. I won't be saying them, but you know, it's we definitely will be getting, like, if Goku gets a new form in Daima, like, you bet your ass we're gonna see it in Dokkan. So there you go, time travelers. Let's move on. This one was kind of just a personal pick here. Rapid growth. I think it would just be cool to get like Universe 6 versions of a lot of these characters, like a new LR Kefla, maybe the EZA for this Kale and Caulifla, a new version of Caulifla, like as a Dokkan Fest or something. Like, she puts in like an okay amount of work in the Tournament of Power, right? Like, her and Kale, they push Goku quite a bit, right? Considering he has to go UI after they fuse and stuff like that. I know people aren't the biggest fans of those characters just because of how their Super Saiyan transformation was handled and just how, like, it felt a little bit contrived that they were as powerful as they were. But I always kind of just argue that it was like, yeah, I understand that it was a little bit quick, but also they tried to establish in the story pretty quick that they knew, like, they were just more, their latent abilities were just higher than the Universe 7 Saiyans, right? Because especially with like Kaba, right? Like, his Super Saiyan transformation happens pretty quick, right? Like, I think this was like the Truth said this in a video like years ago, right? But it's like, he goes from not knowing what Super Saiyan is to learn, like, transforming in like 20 minutes, right? Because Vegeta just brings up Sadala and like, he just transforms. Like, and then he was like, yeah, he goes up to Kale and Caulifla and he was like, yeah, my back felt tingly, and that was basically what happened. And then those two, they just figured it out the same day. So it was like, they just had the natural abilities, it was put in the plot that way, and they just didn't have time to do like a fully fleshed out scene. I think maybe what they could have done is put their backs against a wall a little bit more than they did to transform it, but I don't know. The Kale connection to Broly kind of made that one a little bit easy, but whatever. It is what it is. These guys, just a lot of this team, I think, really just could use like a more synergy, really, like, because it's kind of just all over the place. So it's like, oh, you have Gotenks, you have Piccolo, you have Ultimate Gohan, like, so Gotenks and Ultimate Gohan, that's the tie, right? But then you just, like, you go to Namek, you go to Universe 6, right? You go Super Vegeta, right? It's just all over the place. So I would like to see this team get some buffs in 2025. But last but not least, let's move on. Patara is the last team. I think that one of the anniversary headliners is going to be Super Vegito, so very, very, very good chance that this team gets buffs in 2025. This Super Vegito EZA, good. This Zamasu, good in small sample sizes. This Vegito with his buffs, very good. The anniversary buffs right now have been very helpful for these two characters in specific, making them some of the better units in the game. Kefla's EZA, still very, very good. Physical Rose is more of a super boss character, but you know, you can run him. Patara and super bosses does overlap a decent bit with these Zamasu characters. So there you go. 5 teams that I want to see buffed in 2025. I hope you guys kind of just enjoyed me talking about categories and stuff like that here for a little bit. Almost over the sickness at this point. We will be getting there soon, I hope. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you did enjoy. Don't forget to leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you are new. Turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of my Dokkan content. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.